right, let's just go ahead and just stop the music because we got so much going on here. Welcome to Funkatopia Live. I am your host, Mr. Christopher. Tonight we have got some great special guests in the house. We have Tori Ruffin, who's already on board. If you're watching on Facebook, facebook.com/Funkatopia, he is already on board there. If you guys want to join in and ask some questions and talk to Tori and actually see him, you can absolutely do that. Plus, on top of that, we're also live on YouTube. And of course, now welcome one and all around the world. We got listeners all around the world. I'm seeing Australia. I'm seeing China. I'm seeing multiple places in Europe. And you guys are all over the place. What time is it in Australia? What are you guys doing up? But you guys are all over the map. And very special guest, Tori Ruffin, guitarist for Morris Day and The Time, and also the funk rock band Freak Juice. And Freak Juice is actually going to they have a brand new album is it released yet? Is it already out?
The hard copies are out, but it's going to go worldwide November 13 available on all platforms. Right.
So it's
freakjuice.bandcamp.com, but it's going to be on iTunes, Spotify, and all the platforms, Amazon. But if you want to give us money directly, freakjuice.bandcamp.com. It goes right to us. Nobody gets a cut there.
So as you can tell, the one and only Tori Ruffin is here in the building with us. And I had to ask him a question. It wasn't really planned but he's already been here. We've been kind of talking with the pre-show folks and whatnot. And we've got like all these great questions that people are wanting to ask. If you want to join in on Facebook, do so and ask your questions, because I've got the entire album of the brand new album from Freak Juice. So I'm going to be asking Tori what are some funky tracks that he wants me to play once we kind of get into the show a little bit and talk to him. Once Tori and I start talking, we're done here, because I've known Tori for years. We've never been like really, really good friends, hanging out a lot, but we've crossed paths many times. And we've got some crazy stories. So, and we'll probably share at least a couple of them. Some that he may remember, some that he might not. It was like, oh, that was you? Yeah, he'll remember. So anyways, let's get to this, shall we? It's the one, the only, my good friend, Tori Ruffin's in the house. What's up, my man?
What's up, everybody? All right, now.
The one and only Tori Ruffin, again, guitarist for the funk rock band Freak Juice, is in the house. Also, many of you know him as the guitarist for Morris Day and The Time. And he had the unenvious position of stepping into the shoes of Jesse Johnson, but has done a masterful job in the interim, man.
Yeah, man. That's a tough job, because Jesse's a legend, and yeah, that's like those are big shoes to fill, but
so
a challenge.
Well, yeah, and you've been doing a phenomenal job. I know that it's been a really, really tough road. But for those of you there's many people who've never seen interviews with you, have never really talked to you, but just to kind of get some of the groundwork out of the way before we start having fun and cutting up and stuff. Tell people a little bit about how you got in with Morris Day and The Time, and how that all shook out, once Jesse stepped out of the picture and all that.
Well, man, I was a young pup session guy running around LA, doing shows on late night and just playing with everybody. We actually had a company that were either putting together the bands for Arsenio Hall or playing in them, or just like MDing them. But so then Morris Day rolled around with his solo stuff, and I was like, man, I gotta play with Morris, So I played with him, and then if you were a black guitarist back then, after Hendrix, there was just the next star was Prince.
Right.
I mean, and The Time, and if you're
Living Color, let's not forget Living Color. Can't forget Vernon.
But Vernon came later. These like in the late '80s.
Yeah.
These were the guys. Jesse and Prince and The Time and Cameo. I'm kind of thinking on that era. Ernie, exactly. Mike Hampton. All those guys. Those were the guys. But Prince was on screen. He was on MTV.
Right,
so
yeah.
And that was the next Hendrix, really, in pop culture. But anyway, so I was doing stuff, and then it just came around to we did a couple of shows, and then it came around to put together The Time. And I was actually on a trip going up north to San Francisco, and a couple of guys in my band, the original guys in Freak Juice, they were younger and they had never heard of the time. I was like, what do you mean you never heard of the time? So we were listening to Pandemonium on the way up, and we were listening to Pandemonium on the way back. And I swear to God, this is a true story. I got home and there was Morris Day on my answering machines. Yeah, brother, I'm putting together the time. Why don't you come down and play some guitar for me and the fellas? And it was only supposed to be. It was the craziest story, you know. It was like an omen. And I went down and you know, growing up, playing the time and cover bands or just playing, you know, that stuff was in you. That's what you learned. That's what you played. You know, you played Prince. You just, so I didn't even have to listen to anything because I had been playing it. It was ingrained in me, you know, already when I went and auditioned. And then, you know, it was only supposed to be 2 weeks, and here it is 25 years later.
Man, that's just amazing. And I know that, you know, there was that window of time, obviously, during the original 7 debacle that, well, I don't want to call it a debacle because Condensate was a great album. Matter of fact, Condensate was a fantastic album, to be totally honest. It was just like, you know, a bunch of guys just kind of getting back and just really kind of meshing it together. But, you know, once Morris and Jimmy Jam and all those guys are putting this thing back together and Jesse's back in the picture, are you thinking, damn it?
I was like, well, my time is done. I had a good time. Yeah, I was praying for a disastrous record. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, please. No.
Dang, this is so good. Damn it.
Condensate. No, man, you know, I was actually happy for everybody to get back together and I was happy for the fans, you know, because the fans wanted to see that so bad. I mean, we've been out here hitting the pavement and busting the pavement, trying to keep the music alive for the fans, but it's always good for when an original band gets back together and can do something. Yeah. So it was good, you know, it was a good thing overall. You know, and that gave me time to concentrate on some things I have been wanting to do. So it wasn't bad at all.
And then, as many of you have, you know, may or may not know, what ended up happening then at that point in time is that I guess the time really wasn't moving quick enough for Jesse. Jesse was like, you know, we need to strike while the iron's hot. We got a brand new album out. Everybody's excited that, you know, all the guys are back together, but there's no shows, nothing's happening. I'm like, you know, and D'Angelo came knocking on his door, and D'Angelo said, hey, I'd really like for you to play guitar with me. And then Jesse Johnson said, all right, fine, I'm out. And I think you and I were talking in North Carolina. You and I were sitting in that little studio in up North Carolina for Big Old Nasty Get Down.
Get down.
And I was like, so how did you feel when Jesse Johnson stepped out again? And you were like, I don't remember what the exact words were.
Oh my God, I'm employed again. I got a job. Yes,
my babies can eat.
I can pay rent again. I mean, you know, you never want to see discord in any band. You know, come on, man. And me and Jesse are cool as hell. Like that, I'm a big fan. A lot of people don't know. I'm a big fan of Jesse. Like I said, if you're a guitarist in the '80s, man, you'd love Jesse Johnson. I mean, come on now. Like I said, I'm a fan first. Was a lot of people don't realize, but you know, I hate to see it. You know, you wish, you know, any successful band could stay together.
Right. Yeah.
But you know,
you know what's funny though? Okay, so and I've always wondered about this too, because a lot of people, like for instance, I went to go see what's some like the last classic rock bands I could think that I went to go see. I got the opportunity to see Steve Winwood and some other artists and stuff like that. So a lot of times you'll go like see a band like Steely Dan or something like just an old school band, and maybe you might know the vocalist, but the other artists that are on the stage or the other band members that are on the stage, you may not even be familiar with them. And you may not even be, you might even think, wow, he's kind of changed a little bit. Or maybe you don't even think about it at all. You know, it's just kind of one of those things. So, you know, most people, and I would venture to guess, I know that we got the Prince fans out here that we've been here for a while. But how many times have you been playing on stage and somebody holler up, Jesse?
And Man, the first 5 years of the gig, maybe in the first 10, I definitely in the first 5 years, man, Jesse, you were killing it, man. You ain't lost a beat. Yeah,
You correct him?
I toured with another band called Fishbone, and
Yeah,
others, man, and but they're punk rock kind of metal punk rock ska, whatever. But we played these shows on all these white kids. Man, I saw you back in '92, man, or '88 or whatever, man. You were killing. I said, thank you. But but not like the hardcore fans know, of course, but they're the majority of people are listeners, and as long as you're playing,
right.
as long as they see Morris up there and you're playing a good show, a lot of people really just enjoy that, but you got your hardcore fans, don't get me wrong, but then you got people like you say, hey, Jesse, hey, we've had a different Jerome, for the first 5 years that left, people were calling, hey, Jerome. They didn't know Jerome. I mean, that's how disconnected a lot of people are.
I've always wondered about that. And I know this has nothing to do with you, but why did Jerome ever leave? What was it? Just like a conflict of?
No, man. He just, things happened, and he just got tired. Things. He's been. They've been friends since high school.
It's been a while.
Yeah, there's wrong. When you comes to a point in your life where you want to do something else, So you probably have to ask Jerome, why he really
would never give me an answer. He'd be like, Chris, I'm not telling you that.
I ain't telling you.
Yeah.
That's my diplomatic.
Yeah, so he would never tell me. It's
all good, but rest assured everything's cool.
Yeah, so speaking of Fishbone, because I want to get to Freak Juice here. First off, for those who are not watching on Facebook, for you audio folks, you hundreds of listeners all around the world, I'm wearing a Freak Juice shirt, and wearing a Freak Juice shirt. And here's the thing. This is funny because I was not intending on buying a shirt. Let me say how this happened. Tori got me. I walked in. It was at wasn't Bunkers. It was the music club, Minneapolis. What's the name of that club? It was the one where Jelly Bean always does his Jelly Bean Experience one.
MMC.
Yeah.
Music,
Minnesota Music Club or something like that.
Cafe,
something like that. Anyways, so we walk in, and I see Tori, and Tori's like, "What's going on, man?" And we'd like hug and whatnot. And he was like, "Oh man, come here." And so I walk over with him, and he like grabs the shirt off of I was like, "What size you wear?" I was like, "Oh, I'll take a 2X." He goes, "Oh man, here," and he gives me a shirt, and he walks off. And the girl looks up at me, and she goes, $20. I'm like, oh man,
what's up, buddy?
Do that to me. I was
we gotta get it.
I was like, oh no, I thought he was just like, oh man, he's just Funkatopia, give it a little bit of promo, he's gonna be wearing it. No,
come on, the old baby. Hey, good to see you. Give me the old baby.
Oh my gosh. So that's a great marketing tool. At that point, you got it in your hands, you've already balled it up, or maybe you put it over your shoulder. You're like, well, I was going to drink tonight.
Oh, you a big baller, man. I ain't worried about
it. I know. So anyway, there's so many.
I'll send you a new free.
No. I like this shirt. This actually because I've actually washed it 4 times. I wear it quite a bit, and I've washed it like 4 times, and it doesn't shrink. So it's like, this is a good one.
Oh, okay, nice.
Oh, good. Nice. It's all good. There's like so many freaking stories. We got Fishbone stories too. We're talking about the big old nasty get down. For those of you just joining us on on the radio, you guys can't see who's going on. We have special guest Tori Ruffin in the house, guitarist for Morris Day and the Time, and also the funk rock band Freak Juice, which is the primary reason why we're having them on tonight, because they got a brand new album. It's going to be released on November 13th, just a mere, 2 days from now, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be out, and I have every single one of the tracks. We're going to be playing a couple of the tracks, but we're going to be here talking about them. But I've known Tori for a long time, so we got like funny stories that have to get out of the way. We saw Fishbone. So Tori was in town, not in my town. I actually had to travel to North Carolina. It was in the mountains of North Carolina. And Tori was in town playing guitar for a project called the Big Old Nasty Get Down. For those of you who don't know, the Big Old Nasty Get Down, it's a project from John Heinz where he invites artists from all over the world, from all different types of funk band, Earth, Wind and Fire, obviously The Time, Kool and the Gang, across the board, just artists from all over the planet. And he picks the best artists, and then they all get together in this recording studio. And they have one studio that's not a recording studio where they just kind of do a jam session, and they kind of come up with the basic structure of a song. And then once they get the basic structure of a song, then they go over to the studio and they commit it to a song. Right. And it's 3 days of this. It's literally 3 days of a haze. And I'll just leave it at that. It's a haze.
It's a haze. It's a cannabis haze.
It's a haze.
Yeah.
It is a haze.
I got caught doing an interview, man. I think it's on. I'm high as hell because.
Wait. Let me get the story. Hold on.
Oh, am I giving that one away?
No. We're going to get to this because this is really funny. Okay. So we're recording, and of course, the whole thing is a haze, anyways.
Right.
But that particular night, we were going to go see Fishbone because Fishbone was playing. I think it's a place called Eagles or something in North Carolina or something. Anyways, Fishbone was playing that night, and of course, we all wanted to go out and support Angelo. And Norwood was actually playing in part of the Big Old Nasty Get Down too. Norwood is the bass player for Fishbone. Anyways, so we all go to see Fishbone in North Carolina at this club in North Carolina, and it's a great show. Obviously, Fishbone, I don't think they've ever done a bad show. I think even if they had a horrible night, it would be a great show with Fishbone. But anyways, it's the end of the night, and John comes up to me and says, "Hey, I need you to take Norwood, bassist for Fishbone, back to the cabin or back to the recording studio." And I'm like, okay. So they start loading gear, all of Norwood's gear in my car, in the back of my car. I don't remember what I was driving at that time. And then as they're loading in the car, then John comes back and says, Tori is going to be riding with you too. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then he comes back over there and says, Norwood's girlfriend's going to be with him too. So I was like, okay, so right now I've got a car full of people that I'm going to have to take back to the recording studio. And I got all Norwood's stuff in my car. And the next thing I know, I can't find anybody. Norwood's nowhere to be found. You are nowhere to be found. I can't find anybody. So I've got all this equipment in my car in the middle of this parking lot that's starting to empty out like crazy. And then all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see a trailer, and the door swings open, and it's like a concert. The door swings open to this trailer, and smoke is billowing out of the trailer. And out comes Tori, out comes Norwood. They all come out of the trailer, and I'm like, oh, there they all are. And for those of you who are not on YouTube, Tori has dreads. Norwood has dreads. I can't remember his girlfriend. His girlfriend was just a girl, a groovy type of girl. And they're all piled in my car. And as you probably can imagine, odor and everything comes with it. So for some reason, I don't roll down the windows of my car. I kept the windows rolled up, and it was pretty strong in my car. And I don't know if you remember this, but we got pulled over.
No, I don't.
So I look in the rearview mirror. I see a cop, and the lights go off, and I'm like, John is going to kill me because I've got Tori Ruffin in the front seat. I've got Norwood in the back seat with his girlfriend and all of his gear here, and I am being pulled over, and this car reeks. and we aren't smoking in the car. It's just the car just is just reeking.
Right.
So I roll down the window of the car as the cop comes up, and then as I roll down my window, it dawns on me this is a really bad idea because all that smell was going out that way. The cop comes over, stops for a second, asks for my license and registration, and takes it and goes in the back. And I'm rolling up the window, and I was like, oh shit, I don't even know why I'm being pulled over. And then he comes back over, he gives me my license back, and he goes, you know why I pulled you over? And I said, no. And he says, one of your lights is out in front of your car. You need to get that taken care of.
In front?
The front light.
Yeah.
And he hands me the license back and roll up the window. And I can't remember if it was you or Norwood. It was like dead silent in the car as we stayed in the car and waited for the cop to pull off. And all of a sudden I hear, no warrants, no arrests. That was it. And I was just like, oh my God. I just got pulled over in the mountains of North Carolina with Tori and Norwood in the car. And I could have easily just been the end of a horrible, horrible night. And of course we got to the recording studio in one piece and I just laughed for about a half hour. I was like, I'm so glad I lived. Oh my God. And then of course, what we decided to do, you and I decided to hole away in the studio and you were feeling good. And I said,
that was your, oh my God.
And we sat in that recording studio and you were just like,
that boy interview is like, I am so high on that. And it's really because it's really secondhand high stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I'm like, man. And I was trying to give an interview. I'm like, just mumbling. I'm like,
oh yeah. It was amazing. It was so funny because I tried to do interviews with a lot of different people that night, but it was just like,
this should be redemption. This is my redemption.
I don't even know if it's a redemption because that interview was fantastic because you were just like right off the cuff. It was hilarious. I'll have to send you the interview when we get off. I don't remember. But oh my gosh. So anyways, that's me talking too much. So now let's talk about Freak Juice because Freak Juice is a funk rock band that you actually put together. And actually, before we do this, we got tons of people here that want to ask you questions. Cammie said, were you at the gig in Springfield, Indiana with Morris at the Gathering of the Juggalos? I only lived 15 minutes, but I had no idea you were there.
Oh yeah. That was a great gig, but it was pretty it was scary at the same time. There's for a minute objects start coming to the stage, and so it was different for us, but I was like, everybody do not throw those things back because if you start throwing them back, it's gonna be a mess.
Just dodge.
We persevered and they ended up liking us. We didn't react, we didn't respond, and they ended up going, yeah, this is cool. Yeah. So
well, and it, the Juggalos are a weird group of crazy white people who
the band was actually surprised, man. All those guys were real complimentary and cool to hang around.
And that's what I was gonna say. But
I've heard nothing but horror stories.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, and lots of Fanta and soda pop and craziness and just insanity. But it's like one of those things where you just. It's like a community. It's almost like a crazy Grateful Dead type of community. It's just like this insane family of it's just craziness.
Yeah, it's like a Grateful Dead, and everybody paints their faces though. It's
yep.
I heard a lot of bad stories, but that was a great experience. To play with those guys and the different acts on there. It was cool. I dug it.
Yeah, it's some of those types of bands are always like who is like some bands that you guys have opened up for that you've had like lots of fun.
That what'd you say?
Who are some bands that you've opened up with that you had lots of fun with that you were like, oh, this is going to be horrible or this is going to be a nightmare, and you're like, oh, this was actually really fun?
Well, I have to tell this one story where we were at the Hollywood Bowl playing with a bunch of smooth jazz people, artists, and we were like, oh wow, well, smooth jazz, everybody sitting there with their wine, and we came on there and it erupted, and everybody was partying. I mean, like as far as we could see, it was chaos, and then out came Dave. I think that next act was I can't remember. It was like maybe Dave Cos or somebody, and then everybody was sitting back down, and it was real quiet, and we looked at each other like, I guess they won't be having us open up for them anymore. You know?
Maybe you wore them out. Maybe that's what it was.
But maybe that. But here's the funniest story. At that Prince tribute, I was behind stage. Man, I was loading my gear. You know, the thing we did for Prince, on CBS, and I was, right. I think I was going behind stage with this assistant, and all these killer amps were there, and I was like, man, whose gear is this? And somebody said, oh, that's Dave Grohl's stuff. I was like, oh, Dave, the Foo Fighters here? And I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, the Foo Fighters, this big rock band. I was like, oh, that's tight. So, I walked into the restaurant and I said, Bean, yeah, man, because Bean and I like rock guitar a lot. We like guitar, blues and rock, whatever, anything guitar, we're into it. And I said, man, Dave Grohl's here. He was like, oh, you kidding me? And then he was sitting right over in the chair, and he pops up, fellas. He jumped, I got to tell you a funny story. My sister likes this, was some guy named Dave, blah, 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 blah. Dave, I said, Dave Cos? Yes, yeah, that's it. Yeah, smooth jazz not my really thing. But she dragged me to this concert at the Hollywood Bowl. And out comes you guys. And you motherfuckers rock balls. Like, and is this Dave guy going to actually come and follow this? And everybody just started cracking up.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, what? That's a crazy story, So.
He's a monster. I don't, because I still remember when he was playing drums for Nirvana. I was thinking, man, there's nobody that plays drums like him. He's just a monster.
And man, and he was telling us, man, he a great musician. I always listen, in my opinion, listens to like everything. And he was telling me, man, all I was trying to do on the Nirvana record, I love the Gap Band, so all I was trying to do is play that intro to. Black doom, black doom, black doom, black doom. All I was trying to do is play the what is that? Outstanding. If you don't want to believe, you want it, then oops upside your head. Whatever that.
Oops upside your head.
He's like, that's all I ever was trying to do on that whole record. And if I was like, man, I can see that. It's funny, like, man.
Oh man, he and the fact that he was able to like step out from the shadow of Nirvana and Kurt Cobain and all that stuff that was going on, and then be able to step behind the microphone and pick up guitar so masterfully. Like, he is an amazing guitarist, and for a rock and roll singer and the screamer that he is, it's just insane.
He's great.
And speaking of which, they've got a brand new album that just got released too. So we're not.
Oh yeah. I saw that on SNL.
Yeah. So brand new album for them as well if you're a Foo Fighters fan. But we're here to talk about Freak Juice. So let's talk about Freak Juice. Got a brand new album coming out. Yeah. So tell me about how Freak Juice even got started. Was this like a side project that you had that's been going before the time, or was this
it was. Like I said, I was doing mainly R&B gigs in LA coming up, and it was mainly R&B. And when coming up, I listened to everything. When we were kids, we were listening to, Isley Brothers. I mean, Jimi Hendrix. I grew up in Detroit, so we were listening to Rush, trying to play Rush. We're trying to play Led Zeppelin. And I grew up in a time, I don't know if you remember this, where everything was on the radio. You could listen to Elton John and Stevie Wonder and Led Zeppelin on the same station, though.
Yep.
So that's the time I grew up in, and we, as musicians, we tried to play everything. So fast forward, man, when I was in LA, I was doing a lot of R&B, but I had all this other stuff inside me that I wanted to get out, and I wanted to rock out. I wanted to play some jazz. Later on, I got really into Miles Davis, so I wanted to play some jazz. So I just said, man, let me put together an original band that encompasses that. But first, it was a band called Silver Right, and it was more. I had all the influences of Freak Juice, but I had two guitars, so it was kind of constraining. Then Freak Juice, it became a trio, and I was able to kind of even branch out even a little more and just do exactly what I was feeling and what I want. So Freak Juice does everything. It's rock based, but within that rock, you got jazz, you got hip hop, you got funk, you got a little ska, you got a little punk. Ska and Miles Davis might be in the same song. It's just it's just whatever I feel. So back in the day, Teddy Landau, Mike Landau's brother, Juice. We always call each other juice makers. Juice makers, this, and that was a form. Hey, let's go make some juice. So juice was like music, and we were making for the juice, and so we were juice makers. And then when we put together, that's like, so since we're trying to freak everything out, let's call the band Freak Juice, and then Freak Juice was born. So it doesn't really have anything to do with porno or skeeting or anything like that, like people might think. No,
it never even crossed my mind until you just said it.
Okay, well
now that's all I'm going to think about.
And then so that's how Freak Juice came up. What'd you say?
I was like, I didn't even cross my mind until you just said it. So,
there you go.
So how has the members changed in Freak Juice? Has it pretty much stayed consistent, or you had like a lot of changes?
Well, it was consistent for a long time. This guy named Satnam Rangatra works now. He's a big film composer over for Hans Zimmerman. But he and I, Jai Dillon was the original bassist, and his friend Satnam. And we played together for about, good 10 years in maybe 6-7 years in LA, off and on. When I get back from tours or when they were not doing stuff, we get to go converge on LA, do little small runs, do small tours.
Right.
When we could, it was like my passion project. Anytime I could play it, anytime I could do it, I would do it, and that stayed pretty consistent. And then I was on the road, man, and I ran to a buddy of mine named Charlie Red. And we were, I was out with Morris. He was out with somebody, and he goes, "Man, I see you doing your Freak Juice project, and it's dope. You ought to come to Tulsa, man. It's just like Austin was when we were kids. I spent some time in Austin, before it was Austin that we know it today. But it was just plethora of places to play. Kirk Whalen was there. 6th Street was just nothing but clubs and bands. And he goes, "Man, you ought to come to Tulsa and do your thing, man. I got your back." I was like, "Tulsa, Oklahoma?" Remember, I'm in LA right now. Like, I ain't come. But anyway, so I went down to LA. I went down to Tulsa, man, and there was plenty of places to play. You could play all night with your original band. So you could play all night, get paid. If you weren't paying $20 to park, you wouldn't, you know what I mean? You wouldn't paying $20 a drink. You could actually nurture your craft, and there was plenty of places to play. So I started going down there every 2 weeks, turning into 2 months, turning into 3 months, and then finally I rented a place there 5 years ago, and then fell into a bar, and I'm a bar owner now called the Juice Maker Lounge in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah. I have
a bar. Are you serious? You have a bar in Tulsa,
Oklahoma called the Juice Maker Lounge, the house the Freak Juice built.
Do we have any Oklahoma people in here? And do we have anybody even remotely close to Tulsa? Just let me know in the chat room if anybody's close to even Tulsa. We need you guys to go down here and check this place out. So tell me about this club. You got live bands playing there?
I got live bands. We got live hip hop stuff. We got DJs on the weekend. My dream was to have bands in there 7 nights a week, but that's a monumental task to have really good stuff in there and people come out and support that. And then it's the DJ thing is the kids really, it's a different time, man. The kids really support the DJ scene more. So but like Jelly Beans, I had the time in there. We played the touring band came in and huh?
How many does it seat?
Oh, it's only like 150, but I didn't have Morris in there. The band, like Monty, Jelly Bean, Freeze, they came all down, and we opened up 2 years ago, and we did a big party, and Jelly Bean played guitar down there with me, and cool. There's some really killer players in Tulsa. Don't get it twisted. There's some bad boys in Tulsa. I got a couple of them on my record. They got this thing. I'm on Horton. The Freak Juice record is on Horton, so we got a couple of guests from Horton Records, Paul Benjamin and Seth Lee Jones and Jesse Aycock, man, killing some red dirt blues country stuff on a funk jam called Cookies and Cream, which is like a homage to Prince. The Prince.
Nice. So check that out.
Yeah, you got to check out.
And for those of you who are wondering, Horton Records has nothing to do with me. My last name is Horton. It's not my album cover. It's not my label, but maybe it could be.
One day.
It's definitely the kind of music that I would have on my label for sure.
That's what I'm talking about.
But so, all right, so we got a brand new album. Tell me about the album. You know, who's on it? Who are some of the players on this album? What's it called? And just kind of give me a little bit of background about it. And then pick out a track to play. I've got all of them loaded up. So
okay, all right. Well, it's 12 songs. I got a lot. I called on all my buddies to play. I got Santa Rangatra, like I said, the OG does all the film composing stuff for Hans Zimmerman. I got Andre Berry on there, who's played with you know, everybody from the Brothers Johnson to Eric Marienthal to David Sanborn, astounding bass player. Got Alex Al, who played on This Is It. Michael Jackson, Herbie Hancock. He's actually on Cookies and Cream, killing the Minneapolis sound. Jelly Bean, of course. Monty Moore is on there. Freeze is on there. So I called it Freak Juice and Friend. I got Charlie Singleton from Cameo on there. I don't want to forget anybody, but and then I got a couple of, like I said, mentioned earlier, a couple of really great players from Tulsa, and but the record again is just an amalgamation of all my influences. It starts off kind of heavy, and then it kind of drifts into a softer side, gets heavy again. And the subject kind of matter reflects the political climate on a lot of songs.
Okay.
And and
a lot of chaos. What you're saying?
Huh?
So a lot of chaos is what you're saying.
Yeah, I've got a song called "The Hypocrite," and that's about our well, anybody. You don't have to guess what hypocrite's about. That's about our illustrious president that won't leave. That confuses the conceit, but that's another story. So, but then we got subject matters about police brutality called "Hands to the Sky." But then I got fun stuff called like "Cookies and Cream." Then I got a love song called "The Step." I got a song about playing in the holes in the wall. Like I have a song called "Hole in the Wall," which is about, you know, just beating up the bars. You know, just playing all these, you know, small bars, you know, for the love of it. Yeah, man. So it runs the gamut. It's a pretty eclectic record. So like we got serious subject matters, and then, you know, then we got some fun stuff.
Well, we're getting tons of questions on this chat room. So I want to get to a lot of these questions. I promise all you folks, I am not ignoring you. There's so many people online, but what I want to do is I do want to play a track. So let's get one of the funkier tracks on here. What you said Cookies and Cream was funky.
You could do, yeah. Let's go ahead. Since it's a Prince channel, let's hit them with Cookies and Cream. Now it's a long song, so you might have to fade it out, but it's long, but you can get the idea.
All right, so we'll play a little bit of it. And again, for those of you who are listening,
up to Charlie's, maybe four or 5 minutes of it if you can.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Just let me know when to fade it, and we'll play it. For those of you listening on Funked Up, you guys are going to get the unfettered version of this. Obviously, on Facebook, it doesn't get piped through here because of the way the system is, but you guys will be able to hear it anyways. Here it is, Cookies and Cream from Freak Juice's brand new album. What's the album called again?
Freak Juice and Friends. They call us Juice.
They call us Juice. Here it is, Cookies and Cream. You've never heard it anywhere except for right here on Funkatopia.
like the way that tastes? What'd you say? Tastes like candy. Turn it up. I'm going in. Even when you walk.
And that was a little bit of a taste of Cookies and Cream from the new Freak Juice album.
It's a long song. I had all my friends on there. You know, that was Jelly Bean and Charlie Singleton, the first two solos, and I let everybody play, man. So that's
let me just go ahead and say you've cleaned up that sound. Freak Juice used to be so raw.
Well,
and,
wait.
I mean, it was just not saying that you're not still raw because we haven't heard like the
record. That's just the first track. Now you better. I'm gonna play you some stuff in a minute, Jack. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. So, that was really my when Prince died, it had an impact on everybody. It had and you got to thinking like I didn't really realize what an influence he really had on. You don't think about it when people are alive, really. Like, and I got to thinking, and if you even listen to the earlier stuff, even when I was playing rhythm guitar, man, it's all Prince. Like you can, even though it's freak, even though I'm playing like a rock riff, you can hear the Minneapolis time feel in it. So when he passed, man, I said, man, I got to do a couple of songs on this record like that I dedicated to him, and that's definitely one of them. And Learned It From You is another one, but. Yeah, so those are definitely Minneapolis-inspired grooves, yeah.
For those of you who are just joining us, thank you for coming along. This is Tori Ruffin, guitarist for Freak Juice, also the guitarist for Morris Day at the Time. But we're talking about the new Freak Juice album that is going to be hitting on November 13th, just a couple of days from now. And what's the address again where they can get this out? We're not done here, but I just so we're...
It's freakjuice.bandcamp.com or hortonrecords.bandcamp.com. It's on Horton Records, so if you... just Google that or freakjuice.bandcamp.com. And, we got merch up there. I got a little pendant coming. We're going to have that. And it's worldwide. In 2 days, you'll be able to download it. If you would like a CD, we'll send you out a CD. We'll send you out a hard copy so you can read the liner notes and stuff. And we're going to have some vinyl coming for Christmas. So if you want,
there you go.
For those of you guys are into vinyl, we'll have vinyl on Christmas.
Yeah, so, and Andre's asking when will we be able to hear the full version of the album? It's November 13th. So, well, it's coming out. You'll be able
to... I can send it to you tomorrow if you pay me $9.99. It's $10.
$9.99
plus shipping and handling. And yeah. Oh my God, I'm getting some echo in the background from.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, you can. Yeah, if you go and you actually pre-order the album, you get to download it like immediately, right?
Yeah. If you pre-order the album, you can download it. We have a couple of songs that you can download, and in 2 days it'll be available. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'll have to double check the link that I was on because I think they did change it. I think that if you go ahead and pre-order the album, you actually can download the entire album now.
Oh, great. Okay.
So I think I'll double check that link. I'll make absolute sure, and I'll confirm that once we get. But I think that's on the Horton Records one, the hortonrecords.bandcamp.com. So
okay, great. Yeah.
But again, it's okay. You just gotta wait a couple of days and you're good. So
go ahead and get it now.
So what are some other questions? What are some of the questions? I know. See, Ernest asked a couple of questions. and he had one like a long time ago asking whether or not, I think you were Ernest, you were asking whether or not there it is right there.
Is that Andre Simone saying when will we hear the full album? Was that Andre Simone?
No, Andre, no, this is the guy named Andre. He's nothing like Andre. Andre comes in here quite a bit, actually. We'll see Andre in here. Wally Safford will be in here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So you never know. I could scroll through here, and there could be a bunch of folks that are already here. Michael Dean sometime will be in here.
Andre Simone was the nicest dude, man. I never had him before, man, and I was like, "Hey, Andre, man, I'm Tori, man. I know who you are, brother." You know, he was real. I'm like, you do?
Yeah. He was really down to earth, and you're just like, Andre, don't. I'm supposed to be like in awe of you, not vice versa.
Yeah, right. He makes you feel that way. That's so cool.
It's like when you, Morris, and the guys coming back to Sacramento.
Hey man, I hope tomorrow, when this thing opens up, it doesn't look like anybody will be doing anything honestly till next year, sometime in September. I guess they got a vaccine coming. I don't know. I'm hearing reports. Everybody's guess is as good as ours. Nobody really knows anything yet. But I'm hopeful, at least by September of 2021, everybody should be back on the road. I'm hoping. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of going through some of the things. I am so sorry if I missed some of you guys' questions on here. But Stacey's like Freak Juice, fantastic name.
Thank you.
Let's see. April says, "Hey, Tori from Tampa, do you get to work with Morris's son a lot on stage? I heard him sing 'Jiggos Get Lonely Too.' He sounds just like his dad."
Man, he did that a couple of times. One was at the Hollywood Bowl and just killed it. He has a great voice. You guys should definitely follow him and check it out. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's it seems like there's seems to be like this passing of the torch. George Clinton did that the same thing. He kind of handed off Parliament Funkadelic to his sons. His son, and then I think he's got his. It's like this passing of the torch to sons.
Yeah, man. Why not? Why not? Yeah, why not? Especially great.
But those are shoes that are so tough to fill. I can't imagine even wanting to fill Morris Day's shoe, or even especially wanting to fill George Clinton's shoes. Are you serious? I mean,
right. I mean, well, Darren is doing his own thing. So, while he is Morris Day, he's not trying to be Morris Jr., He's
right.
Darren, So,
Mike did say she love you.
Another Morris Day. We all know that.
There's only one.
Only one.
Love the performance on the Grammy Prince tribute. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Ernest said, this is the other question I have, Ernest. Have you ever produced a song with Morris Day?
We have. Me and Freeze and I, we cut quite a bit of songs on Morris, and hopefully some of those songs will see a light of day. And they're pretty funky, man. I'm hopeful that some of those songs will come out. Yeah.
Are you saying that Morris has his own vault?
Morris has his own vault, man, and a lot of my songs are in there.
Yeah, I know there's tons of music from Morris and Prince that are in Prince's vault. I know there's.
That's what I'm saying. Like there might be another 4.5 days of music that's just in the vault, because we cut a whole back in the day. We cut a whole time record with me, Jimmy Terry. I was Jesse wasn't around, but he did play on some stuff. Prince played on some stuff. There's a whole vault of stuff. I wrote a couple of things on there. Some of those intros that we do with the time are actually songs, like some of those rock intros. They're actually songs, and we cut some of those, and so hopefully one day they'll see the light of day.
Now, did you ever get to play with Prince?
I was on the road with him for 20 shows. We did arenas, and then he came on stage in Vegas, and then we were at Paisley Park for the Raven to the year 2000. There was a jam session there. This stuff is studio. We recording in the studio, and Morris put that story in his book, so y'all might want to check that out.
Yeah,
it's something to do with a bottle of Jack Daniels leaking out onto the floor while Prince was trying to tell a thing about the witness.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, so for the kind of the shortened version of that, that he kind of pulled you guys into the room and was kind of trying to, I could not necessarily convert you.
Just, yeah, given
Just trying to kind of, but the guys had other plans. They were
more it's like
passing around Jack.
Lord, pass me that bottle. Lord, pass me that bottle. Clink, clink, clink.
Oh my gosh, that's
no, good times, man. Real good
Oh,
times. It's been a wild ride with the guys.
when was your first performance with the Time?
Like I said, I believe it was at the Strand. We had like 4 days rehearsal, and I was not any kind of a dancer. And boy, I didn't struggle with the parts, but I sure struggled with the steps for the first show. Dr. Dre even said, "Man, he was killing, but you better learn them steps."
Yeah,
because Dr. Dre was going to sign our one of my rock bands back there, the Death Row. That's another story.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So he was in audience, and I remember Sheila E. being front row, and it was the first time the Time had gotten back together, with the new lineup. So it was cool. We had Big Chance on keyboards. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I haven't heard any updates on Chance at all. It's kind of been real quiet since.
He's slowly but surely getting better. I talked to Bean. He said, I think he's doing what he can. He's slowly but surely getting better, from what I understand.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's great to hear, because I haven't really been getting any updates, or haven't received any updates, or maybe I try not to get on Facebook too much. I mean, this is kind of like the most I'm on Facebook ever.
Right.
It's when we do these shows, and then I'm like, I'm tuning out. I'm out. But what is the name of Morris's book? It's On Time: A Princely Life in Funk. But everything that you've been through, I'm waiting for your book.
I got a buddy that I grew up with in Detroit, Ron Staggio, who's like a Pulitzer Prize winning writer, man. I've been talking to him about, we should do the Sideman book, or the LA Sideman, what it's like to play with different people and stuff, and just, I don't know, it's not that interesting though. But I've made my life interesting. How about that? I've had some good times, as you can attest to.
Right, exactly. Well, and I don't know if you've ever Tony Keeney, who wrote Peppy Willie's book, along with Peppy Willie. That book, I was actually surprised. Peppy Willie's book, If You See Me, was written. He told the stories, and obviously Tony Keeney came in and wrote the story. Man, we're talking about a phenomenal writer. And also, what's his name that wrote Prince's book, The Beautiful Ones? I'm just like, so if you've got stories to tell, even if you can collect your stories, there are people out there that do phenomenal jobs at crafting like this amazing book.
I'd have to talk to those people, because that story you told, I forgot all about that one. Yeah, I'm sure there's several of them like that. But yeah, man. So
anyway. And Ernest did have one more comment. And Ernest is, I saw you more than 5 times. You were an awesome guitarist, Tori.
Thank you, man. And I'm telling you, on the Freak Juice record, I really get to play, with the Time. I'm trying to do justice to what's on the record. So I kind of got to stay within that confines. But if you like my guitar playing, you will really love the Freak Juice record, because I'm playing a lot of guitar on that. And you can really hear the Tori Ruffin sound. And it comes out with the time. Over the years, I've strayed further and further. I've edged a little bit on the Tori Ruffin side as much as I can, without, trying to keep in confines of the sound of the Minneapolis sound. But when we have a long stretch with 7/7, I try and give a little Tori Ruffin vibe on there, But with the record, you can definitely hear my playing, and there's a lot of it.
Well, I am super excited about this album. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Again, freakjuice.bandcamp.com. And again, I still have all these songs all lined up. So let's pick another one. Maybe that's a lot different than Cookies and Cream.
Let's give them the Hypocrite. Let's give them the Hypocrite.
Tori, man, I've known you off and on for so long, man. And it's you're always a great guest to have on. I will reach out to you later, and I'm going to resend you that interview we did in North Carolina, just for laughs.
Oh, I see it on the internet. When you Google Tori Ruffin, that thing comes up. I'm like,
are you serious? In that yellow
I
jacket.
told myself I Googled my. Oh, I just told him I did Google myself. Yes. And out came that interview.
Oh
but
my
yeah,
God.
I appreciate everybody, all the Time fans around the world, and if you could check out this record, and even if it's one track for 99 cents.
Oh my God! I just Googled Tori Ruffin, and you're right. It's number 2.
Right. Isn't that crazy? Your interview. Thank you. I
am so sorry.
That's
dude.
the worst interview in the world, but hey, it is what it is. Hopefully,
It's not.
I'm not.
It was so entertaining.
I'm not a drunken stoner. Just for that interview, I was.
I think I had. You know what's funny that you say that though, because I was like defending you for like a period of time when that interview first came out. Somebody was saying, "Oh man, he's all messed up." Blah blah blah. I said, "No, I think
he was.
He was feeling under the weather. He was. You know, it was late. He'd been playing all day. He was a little under the weather. I was like lying. I was
like, okay, you know, I'm sure there's some great people. I'm sure I'm not the first one to do a Stone.
Maybe I'm gonna have to archive that one and replace it with this one.
I hope we can. I hope we can get it. I hope Google replaces that one.
We'll replace it with this one. Let's see if we can pull it off. Tori, thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna I'm gonna stick on one more track from the album Hypocrite. It's the second song of the album. freakjuice.bandcamp.com. Get the album. It comes out in a couple days, but you can pre-order it now and download some tracks now. So
yeah, I want to say thanks again worldwide to all the fans worldwide. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. The Morris and the fellas appreciate you. Support independent music, and we'll see you soon.
Tori Ruffin.
All right.
Guitarist.
Thanks,
Freak
Chris,
Juice.
man.
Go get it. Freakjuice.bandcamp.com. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the song Hypocrite from Freak Juice's brand new album. Go get it. Go get it now.
All right, brother. Thank you, man. See you later.
Adios.
See you down around. See you.
Adios.
Lord have mercy. What the bumper clock? Lord have mercy. Poop, poop, poop. Hypocrite. Come follow me. Causing chaos in the street, just to prove he ain't a fake. You see the lies and deceit through the evil on his face. Only cares about one race, himself the only cause. Watch his family get richer while he set us up the fall. For the essays he building walls, the Muslims got a ban. Yet we know his brain too small to hatch this clever plan. It was made by billionaires hiding behind white sheets. They know they can't win, so they try to help him cheat.
The orange monster is on the loose with divisive rhetoric and his rhetorical news. You can stand with this monster and all his wrong, but judgment day is coming and it won't be long. And who do you think you're fooling? Nobody. Who do you think you're fooling? Nobody. Make room for the hypocrite. You have you done this whole see your life. Such a miracle on hypocrite. He wants to own you and control you to the day he
He's a
dies.
White House menace, a snake in wolf's clothing. Him and his partner Pence got the whole country folding. He claims to be the chosen, but not by me. A tyrant who's been emboldened by the GOP.
More golf and vacation than the previous president. Lying and colluding with the foreign governments. We must resist no matter what the lie. But they go low, we go high. And who do you think you're fooling? Nobody. And who do you think you're fooling? Nobody.
Temptation sign.
Make room for the hypocrite. You haven't done it in his whole world. See your life, such a lying ass hypocrite. He wants to own you and control you to the day
ignore what we know to be the truth. What about they do? Why can't we save our baby? Situation getting fucking crazy. These Christians killing Muslims, Islam is killing Jews. We watch this war play out on the streets and in the news. Revolution, a solution.
Make room for the hypocrite.
Temptation's fine.
We'll have you drowning in this no more